watching Numbskull News, and today I want to talk about the ACC. Are you safe? Do you feel good? ESPN picked up the deal, so everything's all good, right? Well, let me ask you a question. What's really changed? I mean, before we found out about the February 1st, 2025 deadline thingy, that was Florida State. That came out with the Florida State lawsuit. And that was just over a year ago. Before that, what was everybody saying about the ACC? They were saying you were screwed. Essentially, you were going to lose your big brands. And no one just really knew how things were going to go. Then Florida State, then Clemson filed lawsuits, and off to the races we go. And now ESPN has picked up your contract and extended it to the 2036 deadline, which everybody thought initially that was the case in the first place until the lawsuit came out. And by the way, I got that. I didn't think ESPN was going to pick it up. Got that wrong. Big old loss on my record. Who cares? Who cares? Who am I? I'm nobody. I'm just a fly on the wall of shit. But I have a question. Why did ESPN pick up that option? Well, like many things, there's probably several different reasons for it. We don't know them all. You have to speculate as much as possible. But I'm thinking one possible reason for it, and it's probably not a small reason. That was their way to avoid any kind of future lawsuits or any undue fines from any law breaking possibly that could have went on. Because I don't believe it's really legal for them to take Florida State and Clemson and just throw them into the SEC. Can't exactly do that. There's a few laws in place that prevent such things. So one of the reasons that they picked it up was to say, hey, we're free and clear. Our name's Paul. This is between y'all. FSU, Clemson, ACC, whatever happens, that's on you guys. We're out, right? That's essentially what they're doing. Not that they can't work some things behind the scenes, but, in your public face of everything, they're clear. Now, another reason they did it was because the ACC can provide more premium matchups with Notre Dame going against Florida State, Clemson, and Miami. Interesting. It's interesting because what a lot of you guys have been watching me for a while. I know you've heard me talk about premium matchups, like the reason Florida State and Clemson would be allowed into the SEC for premium matchups that Florida State and Clemson can provide the SEC or the Big Ten, however you want to look at it. Well, right here, you have ESPN and the ACC coming together doing exactly that. All right, they have 5-6 games a year with Notre Dame, and now they're going to be playing Florida State, Clemson, and Miami more often. Why? Because those games are worth more. More people will watch those games because of the kinds of huge fan bases all of those schools have. All apologies to Boston College or Wake Forest, but no one gives a flaming hell about watching Notre Dame versus them. That's what ESPN is telling everybody. They want those big brands playing each other more often. It's worth more money. And that enticed them also to help pick the thing up. But I thought it was interesting that Florida State and Clemson, along with Miami, provide those kind of premium matchups with Notre Dame that are sought after by ESPN. And yet, another example of why ESPN ultimately wants those two, Florida State and Clemson, in the SEC. Because instead of just, once a year, once every couple of years with Notre Dame, you got all the SEC to play. A lot of brands there. They get a lot of great ratings, and Florida State and Clemson just helps build that. So if there's anybody that has any kind of inkling, that, oh, Florida State and Clemson, they're going to be here till 2036. Get it out of your head. Get it out of your head. It's not happening. As a matter of fact, what's being reported? 2031. All of a sudden, that date has become the date. 2031, 2031. Because FSU and Clemson, they're willing to work out a settlement as long as it means that they can affordably get out of the ACC by way of buyouts and penalties being way further down. That way they can afford it and get out in 2031. All you people who've been believing the hype of, oh, the SEC is just not interested, or the Big Ten's just not interested, that's BS. All right, that's the public face of two conferences that don't want any kind of legal smoke. That's what they have to say. You're an idiot if you think otherwise. Period. Well, a source came out and told somebody something? That ain't worth a sack of garden manure. But before we get to all that, doesn't there need to be a vote? A vote on unequal revenue sharing. I mean, this is laughable. And you actually have these morons like Josh Pate, right? That, oh, why wouldn't the SEC do this? Why wouldn't the Big Ten do this? Because they don't have to, moron. When you look at the Big Ten, it's way more than just football in the Big Ten. You got big time academics going on in the Big Ten. No one's trying to piss each other off. You say, oh, well, Purdue, Northwestern. Those are two of the elite academic brands in the entire country. The entire world. Okay, so they don't provide this badassness in football. That's okay. Because they more than make up with it in other ways. So no, is the Big Ten going to go unequal revenue? No, that's stupid. Because just like it is in the NFL, all right, the media rights and all that stuff is shared, but Ohio State, Michigan have other ways to get revenue based off of their brand and their logo, their name value. They have that Northwestern and Purdue don't have. Just like in the NFL with the Cowboys. Albeit they haven't done jack in 30 years. But all their merchandise sales, guess what? They don't have to share that with the rest of the league. That's their money. Same thing with those huge brands in the Big Ten and the SEC. Yeah, you could share revenue with Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Arkansas. Doesn't matter. Because Texas, OU, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, they have other revenue streams. The Gators, they have other revenue streams than just the media rights or just the CFP payouts or NCAA payouts. So no, they're not going to do an unequal revenue split. That's an act of desperation and trying to keep the two teams you need to keep happy for just a little longer. Because this is just kicking the can down the road. Because Clemson and Florida State eventually are gone. Adios. Probably Miami as well. And if everyone's right and I'm wrong, UNC's gone too. So what are you left with then? Because if those four brands are gone, you don't have a conference. You are effectively Pac-12. That's what you are. And the Louisvilles, the Pitts, the Virginia Techs, the Virginias, Georgia Tech maybe, Syracuse, they're going to do what's in their own best interest. And if they can, trust me, the phone call, at that time, Brett Yormark's phone gets really, really busy. Really busy. Just like it did with the Four Corners. It'll happen again. This is not hard to understand. And I know, we'll just rally around and well, wait, all our four biggest brands are out of here. Who's rallying around what exactly? There's nothing to rally around at that time. And I love people that come at me about the ACC network. Now I'm going to do a whole separate video on the ACC network. But just to give you a small little taste of that, cable TV, just cable TV, since 2014 has lost over 20 million subscribers. 20 million. The rate is accelerating year after year. In 2023, pay TV lost over 5 million just in 2023. 5 million subscribers, over 5, just in 2023. Just in the second quarter of 2024, pay TV lost over 1 million subscribers just in one quarter. So it's not that you're just losing steady subscribers. The amount of subscribers that pay TV, cable, satellite loses year after year is increasing. And the more people signing up with streamers is increasing. I know. Everyone's like, well, you get all the carriage fees from YouTube TV and all that, Sling, whatever, Fubo. Yeah, well, like YouTube shrank in the first quarter of 2024. Now it rebounded a little bit. But what does it tell you? That these little slim options, these little cable light options is essentially what YouTube TV is. Folks aren't that interested in that either. And it's worked for a while. It's worked for a while, but that shrinkage you had in the first quarter of 2024, it's not a good sign. Is all I'm saying. It's not a good sign. The growth has came down with that. Why is that? Because it's still really expensive. I mean, YouTube TV is what, $70, $80 a month? And that doesn't even include the Red Zone channel. What the F? It's not even including the Red Zone channel? That's what I'm talking about. All right, so people cut the cord because it's expensive. You realize when ESPN goes straight to consumer, so whatever that new ESPN Plus thing is, you're talking maybe $30 a month, 30, 35, 40 for all your games. They'll have partnerships with whoever they need to have partnerships with so they can broadcast everything in one location. That's what they're going to do. So what does all that mean? Well, the ACC network is what? A network on linear TV, satellite. The same satellite had a little argument about carriage fees with Disney. That means ESPN, every Disney network, every Disney channel. Guess what? DirecTV doesn't have any of that anymore because ESPN still has the highest carriage fees of any network, and it's not even close. DirecTV was losing money on it. And they're like, no, we got to drop our prices, which means your carriage fees have to come down. And ESPN and Disney would rather just lose any kind of carriage fee revenue that they could get on satellite and just bounce. So much for the importance of that. So yeah, the ACC is still making money right now. So's ESPN. So's several different linear products, especially sports-related products. But they're not immune to what is going on with cord cutting. And places like ESPN, and I keep bringing up ESPN because that is the ACC's only media rights partner, unlike the Big 12 who have 3. Just saying. But yeah, ESPN's making all the moves to get out of the linear business altogether. That's what straight to consumer means. A streamer, and you can just pay for ESPN. You don't have to pay for all this other bullshit that you have no interest in watching. So as far as the ACC network, enjoy it while it lasts. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Y'all are screwed every which way. There's a way out. I've been talking about partnerships or a straight up merger with the Big 12. I've dropped videos talking about both over the last month. It's what needs to happen. It's what needs to happen. Especially If UNC doesn't get the call to go to the Big Ten or the SEC, or Miami doesn't get that call either, you better do something. And the Big 12's right there. The Big 12's right there. Private equity can make all of this happen. Can make it all happen. Look, you can't count on Florida State and Clemson. You have to make plans after they leave. You got to set yourself up. Get ready for it. The Pac-12 got blindsided. The Big 12 got blindsided. You guys have the incredible fortune of seeing what happened to a couple of conferences before Florida State and Clemson filed those lawsuits. And now you know they're going to be there at least till 2031. You have a chance to sit back, make your preparations. And it's not just about saving the damn conference. It's about keeping your schools from becoming Oregon State and Washington State. All right. Look, between the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big 12, everybody has a place to go except for a few of your lower schools. Your Wake Forest, your Boston College, to name two. A straight up merger with private equity saves everybody. And yes, Florida State and Clemson go wherever they need to go. Maybe Miami as well. Maybe UNC as well. But everybody else can have a place to crash. Use private equity. And make this a reality. Because the ultimate strength for either conference is to come together and negotiate media rights together. Because you control an ass ton of content that's needed and wanted by all of the media partners out there. And some that are looking to really get into the game of sports. Your Amazons, your Netflix, yada, yada, yada. That's the power. While we're apart, you got some stroke, but not a ton. Together, it's double the fun. It's double the power, double the stroke, double the leverage. So, if you think I just make these videos because I hate the ACC and I want to see it die, it's not even about that. I want to see the Big 12 survive. It was best for the Big 12 that the Pac-12 imploded. Gone. Just a shell, a dead husk on the side of the road. The ACC doesn't have to be that way. A Pac-12 situation can happen, but there's time to avoid it. You got somebody right next door in Brett Yormark and the Big 12 who are having some of the same issues, same problems. They're facing the same kind of adversity that the Big Ten and the SEC are putting out there for them. So, what do? How do you assure yourself a table or a seat at the big table with the big two? Do you have one right now? A little bit. It's kind of a small chair. I'm not going to lie. It's like a kindergarten chair. That's what the Big 12 and the ACC have. Come together. All of a sudden, that chair looks a little bit more adult. So in closing, just consider this video a warning. I'm not saying the Big 12 is all that much more powerful than the ACC. The thing is, there's a clock ticking. Y'all got some extra time with ESPN picking up the contract, but the clock is still ticking. It's going to hit midnight. When it does, Florida State and Clemson are gone. And if you're lucky, you'll keep your next two biggest brands there. If you're not, you're in a whole world of shit. Use this time before 2031, the next 4 or 5 years. Use that. Make your plans. Work with the Big 12. Get something done. Develop a game plan. Use private equity to meet the ends you need to meet. It's the only chance you got. It's either that or the Pac-12 future that awaits, because it's there. It's there, and it's looking you dead in the face. If you don't want to look at it, you don't have to. But sooner or later, it's going to raise that foot and kick you right in the nuts. Use the time you have. Avoid that fate. Join the Big 12. Let us work together. This is the olive branch of the video of my channel. Partnership, merger. Either way, let's get it done. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap, and I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.